Hope everybody's having a good morning. I just wanted to go through and kind of recap week one, how training went, and yeah, let's get into it. So, the threshold intervals on Tuesday of last week, I didn't feel super great. Um, I was over the weekend before up at the lake, and we were doing a little bit of day drinking on the boat, and I think that definitely had an effect on me. So, first interval, let's see here, did 342, average of 162 heart rate. That's pretty high for a first interval. Usually I'll see my heart rate around the 150s or so. Second interval, 168, 338 average power. Not great. I definitely was just feeling some leftover alcohol withdrawal syndrome or whatever. I don't know. I just was not feeling good. That kind of like lingered for the first half of the week for sure. I didn't feel great on this ride either. I always try to keep my heart rate below 131 on these zone 2 rides. It got all the way up to 138. I just felt kind of, if I stood up out of the saddle or anything, I would just immediately, my heart would just shoot up. So I don't really know. I think that it just, when you do what I did over the weekend, it really does have a lasting effect for a good while. Uh, the 4 hour zone 2 ride on Thursday, kind of the same situation. I noticed a lot of aerobic decoupling on this ride. As you can see, like this first half we were looking at an average heart rate of 121. It did spike up right here at the end to 138. I had to take a store stop around the halfway point, but this last bit, before I got back into town, average heart rate was really high. It was 126. So if you compare that to the beginning, 121, that's a pretty big decoupling, especially when you look at the power. You can see that the power drops down substantially. So like 218 versus in the last half, 201. 5 beats higher, 20 watts lower. Not good. I took a recovery ride on Friday. It was pretty easy. Average heart rate of 91. I spiked it up there for a little bit, but that was very, very short. As you can see, let's pull this up. As you can see, it was mainly just right here that it got high at the very end. And honestly, I felt pretty good on this ride. I ate a lot of food on it. I think we stopped at a cafe and a Golden Pantry to get a biscuit. And I think that really helped, just eating on these recovery rides, because you're trying to fuel for tomorrow's training in a lot of these sessions. So you might not need it for this ride, but if you can get food in on the ride for the next day, I think that's really a good thing you can try to do on these recovery days. That leads me to the tempo intervals on Saturday. I did these with some buddies, and they were really good. I honestly felt really strong, especially on the second one. The first lap, 35 minutes, 287, 145. Second lap, 297. Average heart rate, 146. I was flying. I was feeling really good. This third lap, it wasn't as good. I started to really kind of blow up. We also had to go through downtown, and that really slowed me up. So you can see this huge drop off here. But in that last little bit, 290, average heart rate 155. So it definitely was moving up. But I feel like that session was really productive for me. Sometimes these tempo days, like after a tempo ride, that next day, it just feels like I can hammer it out at like 260, 270 on a zone 2 ride for a good while without my heart rate going back up. Then on Sunday, I wasn't able to do my entire 5 hour ride. The last night before, we had to go up to Atlanta. My fiance's 30th birthday was this weekend, so we went to an omakase restaurant, which was like the coolest experience I've ever done. They like literally pushed you in as you sat in your chair. They like slid you right up into the bar. It was so cool. I cannot recommend that enough. But it did not make for a very refreshing morning. I felt kind of tired. I got in super late. We also watched the football game, so I didn't go to bed till like midnight, and I slept in pretty late. Started the ride late, but as things happened, I got a lot of aerobic decoupling in this last half. Max heart rate 143. I was just kind of letting it go up at this point, but average power 218. I was feeling really good at this midsection though. Average power 237, average heart rate 121. It was a pretty good session. I was like surprised honestly with how I was feeling despite being up late, and just, not necessarily eating the perfect food. Sushi's great, but I don't think that it's exactly what you need before a zone 2 ride that's going to go up to 5 hours. That's kind of why I didn't finish this thing. But yeah, that was the first week. This second week here, I think I'm going to be able to like stick to the entire program very well. Today, I'm going to do some recovery miles that are going to be really easy. I might just putt around town and not even go out into the country roads. Then I got threshold intervals tomorrow. That'll be 14 minutes times 3, and I'm looking forward to these. I really hope that I'm going to have a good session after last session's lackluster performance. So, yeah, stay tuned for more information on that, and hopefully you guys can follow along and glean something out of this to help your own training. But yeah, thanks anyway. Have a good one. Bye.